Hey guys, WalterFootball.com video here. Going to do another fantasy football draft analysis. So before we get into that, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit WalterFootball.com for tons of content. We're doing season previews now. We had the Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year, so you can check out all our previews, fantasy football rankings, NFL mock drafts, picks against the spread for multiple sports, and all of it's free. So check out WalterFootball.com. So here I did a draft. I absolutely love this draft. I thought I crushed this draft. Usually I don't, sometimes I think like, oh, I could have done this better. This draft's okay. This draft's solid. This draft I'm in love with, except for maybe the first pick. And I'll get to what happened here and also talk about some of the picks I hated in this draft, as we usually do here. Talk about the bad things, which is fun. So I had the eighth pick. I went Puka Nacua 108. I've been targeting Malik Neighbors here. I love Malik Neighbors. I think there's an argument that he could be the number one receiver next year, maybe the number one overall, kind of like Jamar Chase is now. But he came off the board. Lesticles took him at 107. It's a funny name. So I took Puka Nacua at 108. Didn't really know what to do. I thought about McCaffrey, thought about Genty, thought about Amon-Ra St. Brown, even Brian Thomas Jr. But in fact, if I had to do it over again, I think I'd take Thomas. Nacua just bothers me with the injury history, but as you can see here, I took a lot of receivers. So even if Nacua goes down, I'll be looking pretty good at receiver. But the reason we'll get into why this draft was so great in a bit. AJ Brown at 205. I think AJ Brown should be going late one. That's where he was going last year. Nothing has changed. He's still young. He's still playing for a dynamic offense. The Eagles' offensive line is so great. They just lost Mekhi Becton, but I would expect Philadelphia's offense to just be great once again. And Jalen Hurts has a great connection with Brown. So I love A.J. Brown in second round. Whenever he falls to me, I try to get him. Now, here's where I got some unexpected players. So Bucky Irving went 308 in this draft. He usually goes late second, early third. I can't believe he fell to me at 308. It was so bizarre. So did Trey McBride, who also has gone late second, early third. Now, I don't love Trey McBride. I think he's a really good player. Just for fantasy, I think he's going a little too early. But Bucky Irving, I'm a huge fan of him. So I was so shocked that he fell to 308. It was really surprising. What was even more surprising is that Jack Smith and Jigba fell to 405. He's someone who goes mid third, late third, like mid fourth is insane for Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's the number one in Seattle. Just a fantastic player. He was so dominant at the end of the 2024 season. So I was really surprised. I know he has the same buy as Puka Nacua, week 8. It's not a huge deal. So that was really shocking. Fifth round, Cortland Sutton. He's been going earlier. Another guy who got his great value. He's going late 4, early 5. I got him at 508, which is kind of like where he was going about a month and a half ago. So according to that, like, it's decent value, but still. Another guy who's been going earlier, Calvin Ridley. He's been going like mid fifth, late fifth. I got him at 605. I love Ridley this year. He had the most unrealized air yards last year, which basically means that the quarterbacks couldn't get the ball to him, even though they tried to go deep. They just couldn't do it. And now he's a better quarterback. And I think people forget how good Ridley is. I think he's poised for a huge season with Cam Ward, unless Cam Ward busts, but I really don't think so. I think Cam Ward is going to be really good. Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round. It's just fine. It's not like a special pick or anything. TJ Hawkinson at 805. Pretty solid there. I really like Hawkinson. You could have, if I didn't have as many receivers, I think I would have gone with Emeka Egbuka, but I had so many receivers already. And then I took 2 quarterbacks after that, JJ McCarthy to pair with Hawkinson at 908, and then Drake May 1005. And I paired Drake May with Kyle Williams at 1108. Drake May, just really love his talent as a runner, and so that's just bonus points you get for fantasy. So I'm a big fan of scrambling quarterbacks. I got 3 of them in this draft, as you can see, with Cam Ward also at 1308. Cam Ward's just going way too late. Isaac Guerendo, I've been taking. My exposure to Guerendo is 72%. I just keep taking him in the 12th round. I don't understand why he's going so late. McCaffrey's almost certainly going to break down at some point. He's an older running back with a long injury history. Then Guerendo, if Guerendo comes in, he's going to have a monster performance every week, and he's gonna win you your fantasy league. Jalen Wright could do that too. Also, Will Shipley, if Achane and Saquon Barkley go down, then these guys are going to step in and have huge performances. So I'm a big fan of drafting them here. Dante Thornton, great sleeper receiver. He's got so much talent. He's like 6'5". He's just huge frame, great speed. He's already working with the Raiders number ones. I think there's a decent chance he's the number one wide receiver. Of course, I say number one wide receiver instead of number one receiver because really the number one receiver is Brock Bowers, but downfield, I think Thornton could really benefit for just Bowers drawing so much attention over the middle of the field. Then some late round running backs, Justice Hill, if Henry gets hurt, he could come in, although there is still Keaton Mitchell, so you have to worry about that. Braden Smith, so Ben Wassley from FFDFantasyFootball.com turned me on to him. I just think that you could make a case that Pacheco could get hurt. I think this might be the only mistake I made is I kind of forgot that I already drafted Pacheco. Usually don't want to draft your own handcuffs, but I did that here. It's not 18th round. It's not a huge deal. So I think there's a chance that Braden Smith does something this year. And then a couple of late round tight ends. I really wanted Tyler Higbee, but he went 17-10. So it's like the first draft where Higbee has kind of gone where he should. Actually, you could make the case that he could go earlier than that. As far as like the picks, I hate in each round. First round, I don't hate too much. I think McCaffrey is a huge bust potential. So I think he's probably the worst pick in the first round, but I mean, he could win the league as well, or just do really well at least. In round two, I think that seeing like Garrett Wilson there, it's a little too early. And Marvin Harrison Jr. at 206 is he was so mediocre last year, especially compared to the other rookie receivers. I thought that we could get him in like round 4, round 5 this year, but he's going round 3. So not much value there in round 3, and especially not in round 2. I think that was just a reach. So even though this guy, Lesticles, did well early on with Neighbors, he kind of bungled it with Harrison and also Hill. Tyreek Hill is an older receiver who relies on his speed, so he's going to go downhill a lot faster than someone like Devontae Adams or something. So and plus Miami's offense is in shambles through the offensive line. Tua Tagovailoa is going to get concussion at some point. It's sad but true. So you can't count on Hill. I think taking him mid third round is just a big mistake. In the fourth round, Alvin Kamara is someone who's been really talented for a long time, but he's an older running back. He's about 30 now, and he usually goes like early round 5, mid round 5. See him go 403 is just a big reach. I have a rule. One of my rules in fantasy is don't draft players on bad offenses, and the Saints definitely qualify as such. I don't think I've drafted Kamara once so far this summer. Round 5, Chris Godwin. Like, I've criticized Godwin for going mid round 6. Like 502 is insane. Chris Godwin has his week 1 status is already in doubt. So don't take Chris Godwin. I think that's just a big mistake. Like even like round 8, I wouldn't touch him. I think he's going to play like half the year, if that. He's coming off an injury, and I think the reason why the Buccaneers drafted Igbuka is because they saw how banged up Godwin was already. Round 6, Archie Harvey's going to be in a timeshare with J.K. Dobbins. And I'm not a huge fan of him anyway, so I think that he's going 2 rounds too early right now. Round 7, Stephon Diggs coming off the torn ACL. It sounds like he's not going to play until week 4, week 5. At this point, it's already that was announced. I don't know how accurate the report was, but that's what I saw. So I wouldn't touch him there. Cooper Kupp. I was on a show with Kenny Ortiz from decapsfake.com, and I told Kenny that I would not draft Cooper Kupp in round 20, which is true. I think he's washed up. This is the first time he's going to be away for Sean McVay and also either Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff. He's going to be in an offense in Seattle that's not nearly as good, and the offensive line stinks. I think he's due to like catch 4 passes for 35 yards every week. I would not touch Cooper Kupp at all. I think that's a truly awful pick in round 8. Round 9, we had a bunch of quarterbacks go, but the worst pick was Quentin Johnston. The Chargers drafted Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith. I think one of them is going to start on the outside for sure, if not both. And Quentin Johnston's the guy who drops way too many passes. I think that Jim Harbaugh is going to grow very tired of Quentin Johnston, who was not one of his picks when he started there, so he has no allegiance to him at all. In round 10. I just can't. I can't get behind Scatabo, but ATN feels a little worse to me. At least Scatabo is going to get some goal line touches. ETN just sucks. He's just not a good player. There's a chance he'll be traded, which will benefit him potentially depending on where he goes. But ATN at this point, he's just so overrated. He was drafted in the first round, and I think that's why people have faith in him. But it's just misplaced faith. Like he's never going to he's never going to pay off his price tag, even in the 10th round. Just way too early. I think Tank Bigsby is a better player, and Bashal Tutin is a guy that this current regime has drafted. Whereas like ATN is kind of just like he's not the best running back, and he's not part of this new regime. So why even bother with him? I think it's just a really big mistake. Round 11, I think the worst pick here is Marvin Mims. He had a couple good performances late in the year, but he doesn't have the speed that Sean Payton likes, and I just think he's going to get lost in the shuffle just to play on special teams. Round 12, the worst pick here, and really it's like nothing really stands out as being too bad. I would say that Jalen McMillan is probably the worst, although I could see him maybe paying off. But really, if Godwin does play, which I kind of doubt that he does, at least to start the year, but like whenever Godwin comes back, like McMillan's gonna be the fourth receiver on that team. Are you really going to draft a fourth receiver on the team in round 12? It just seems like a big mistake. So not a fan of that. So I'm not going to go deeper into this. One pick that really sounds out as bad, just looking at it, DeAndre Hopkins, round 14. There's zero upside. Late in the draft, you want upside, not like guys are going to catch 3 passes for 30 yards. Like Hopkins is going to do nothing for you, especially in best ball. So don't draft DeAndre Hopkins, and hopefully you get great luck like this in my draft where I got like Irving to fall to me, Jackson Jigba to fall to me, Calvin Ridley to fall to me, Hawkinson to fall to me. Like it's just a perfect draft. I'm in love with it. I know I went like heavy receiver, but between Irving, Pacheco, Garendo, Wright, Shipley, I think that running back core is going to pay off, and I think one of my quarterbacks will do great as well. And plus, I love Hawkinson, so I can see the team like doing well. I just wish I had Neighbors instead of Nakua, but that was out of my control. So that was a WalterFootball.com fantasy review video. I hope you liked it. Tell me how I did. What am I foolish to think that this is such a great draft for me? Tell me why this is not a good draft, or if you think this was a great draft, let me know too. Otherwise, please hit like, subscribe, and comment below. Visit WalterFootball.com for tons of content. As I said, it's all free, so check us out. Otherwise, I will talk to you in the next video.